Okay, so I'm back. Cleaned all the metal shavings off, got everything all cleaned up, no oil on it, use a little bit of brake cleaner. And one thing, what we're gonna need for this set, or this half of the insulation part, is we're gonna need a bigger punch, not a pointy one, but we're gonna need a big one like this. And we're gonna need a screwdriver, preferably one that has, well, it has to be the one that has the removable bit at the end. Or you can use a T25 Torx wrench or whatever you have that fits, that has a T25 Torx head on it, because Hinson gives you one, and this one just happens to fit this kind of screwdriver. Or you could use a socket wrench and a 1/4 inch drive, or a 1/4 inch socket, and use it to. I'm really confusing myself. You can put this with a 1/4 inch socket on a ratchet and use it to tighten down the screws in the back. But I'm just going to use this because you only need 3.3 foot-pounds of torque, and you don't want to tighten it down with anything too big like a ratchet unless you're going to be using a torque wrench or something along that. But see, right now I'm just trying to get my camera set up. Alright, so move some stuff over and check my camera real quick. Perfect. Alright, so like I said, this is a T25 Torx, and I'm going to be putting this in my screwdriver. Can't, there we go. And we're going to move over to the Hinson basket, and we're going to take out all these Torx screws. And you can even see here it says to use Loctite on your screws and stuff. I don't know if you could see that. Yep. So I'm just going to take all these out. I think there's 7 of them. Doesn't matter. Just going to take all those screws out so we can start assembling the basket. And these aren't in very tight, and I think they're actually in here torqued, because they are not very tight. So, you know, just to give you an idea, you don't really need to crank these down, because it's just it's a steel bolt going through aluminum. If you crank it down too hard, that steel bolt is just going to go right through the aluminum, and it's just going to strip it. You're going to have a nightmare. That's what the Loctite's for. You don't need to torque it down too tight. And you must use Loctite on this. If you don't use Loctite, then something's going to come loose. It's going to shatter a whole bunch of gears in your bike, and not good. So, the retaining plate's off. Next, we get all of our little spacers in, whatever you want to call them, and they can only go in one way, as I'm finding out right now, so I try to put one in the wrong way. And they just slip right on over. I'll give you guys a close-up of this in a minute. Oops. So as you can see, these are all in now, all nice. Then we take our gear, the kickstart idler and the primary drive gear, and just drop it in here. It'd help if you put it in the right way. And you gotta try and slide all these in. You can see circular hole, all these little, keep forgetting what they're called, the rubber things gotta slide in. So just kind of pushing on them. all the way around, circling it around a few times, tap on it. And that's on. Every single one's nice and flush. So next step to getting this done would be to get our Loctite on. So once again, Loctite, shake it before you use it. And I'm going to get my plate back on here and lined up first. And these screws are clean already, so you don't really have to clean them. And I'm just going to do a close-up of this. Just drop a little bit on the threads. Actually a lot. You want to be generous with this and slide it right in. And I'm going to get all these done right now. Hinson, in the instructions, they tell you to put some Loctite on the threads and in the hole. As long as you're putting a lot on the threads towards the bottom, when you start screwing this little bolt in, it's gonna go up the threads as you screw it in. I'm watching it do it right now. So there's really no need to try and stick this little thing all the way down in there and try and get Loctite in there, then you got a big mess everywhere. So I would only worry about just getting a generous amount on the screws and you'll be fine. And as always, whenever you're using Loctite, use fresh Loctite, because it does have a shelf life, and you don't want to use bad Loctite, because then it's like using no Loctite at all, which is not good. So next I'm going to torque these down. I'm just going to first get them all snug and seated in to get this to move around, because where these screws go in, they're kind of countersunk in, so this is all nice and flat, and I want to make sure that this retaining plate's lined up really nice. So, this is just getting snugged in. Then I'm going to go around and torque it in a crisscross pattern. Okay, so now I'm going to go around and torque this. So we'll start here. Give that a nice spin. Go here. A nice turn. Go here. Go here. Go here. Go here. Go here. And then just do a once over. Make sure everything's nice. And we're almost done, but this is where the hammer and punch come in. They tell you to give where the bolts come through a peening. So what we're going to do is take the punch that goes right over these in here and just give it a few punches until it smashes the bolt in, so it doesn't want to come out. And that's all you're going to see me doing right now. And we're done. And I'll give you guys a look at the finished product. got our gear on. All these are nice and in there. I'll peel the sticker off later with a razor blade, but just no need to do it right now. Nice new basket. So yeah, Hinson basket. We have some new clutch plates for this bike too. If you keep in tune with my channel and you see what we're doing to the 93, we got a new Tusk clutch kit. The plates have been soaking, been rotating these every once in a while. But yeah, Hinson basket, nice. And I guess I'll just show you guys the instructions since I got a little bit of time. And they tell you to get the gear off, either drill it out or grind it off till you get all these, then to place them all back on and get the primary drive gear back on. And they say the Loctite, they say get a Loctite in the hole and everything. They're talking about it here. Then torque them down to 3.3 foot-pounds. And then basically how to put it back in the bike, but they do say using the hammer and punch, peen the screws where they come through the inside of the basket. You can see what they're doing right there, the same thing that I was just doing. And then how to put it back in. And then it talks about Loctite. And telling you to use OEM clutch plates. That's, people say, oh, you need to do that, you don't need to do that, or whatever. Soak your clutch plates in oil before you install them. That's a good idea. Petroleum-based 80 weight transmission.